for Advanced Power. My name is Estefania Galeano, and today my class is about the verb to be in its present form. So, as an introduction, we could talk about what does be itself mean as a verb. So, it is defined as the state of existing or living, to take place or to occur, and basically to occupy a position or a place. So we already know that the verb to be is the principal point of the whole English language, and even more in its present form. So the two uses we are treating today as general are as an action verb and as an auxiliary verb. First of all, how being an action verb allows the verb to be to have a position as an auxiliary verb inside of sentences. So at this point, we should already know that the verbs have different conjugations depending, first of all, in its tense form, and secondly, in which personal pronoun they are with, alright? So the verb to be happens to have three different conjugations inside of those factors, which is the affirmative, the negative, and the conjugation used inside of questions, which is basically related to the other two, okay? So we should talk, first of all, what is conjugation? The conjugation is an inflection that a verb does in front of a personal pronoun. It's how the verb adapts itself to be at the same tone as the personal pronoun, right? So the first conjugation we are treating today, and probably the most important one in this specific topic, is the affirmative conjugation. And how to form affirmative sentences. So we should determine, first of all, which are our personal pronouns. Okay? So we have you, which can be used both in singular and plural. She, it, he, which are the third singular person. Okay? So they have specific changes in which the three are involved and the three are related. I know my handwriting is not beautiful to see, but it is understandable, I guess. Okay, so how is the am in the verb to be conjugated? We have I am. I said am before, well, I am, alright? Secondly, you are. Its contraction, am, and its contraction, your. Yes? So the verb to be has this thing that even if we're talking as an auxiliary or as an action verb, it can have contractions. Most of verbs don't have them. For example, if we talk about run or about fly, we cannot say I flew, okay? So that's why the contractions only happen in the verb to be. Then these three, which are with is, and their contractions, right? I love periods. Then we have these two, which are plural, they use are, and their contractions as. Okay, that's probably it. Why this is the main base of the conjugations? Because once you have learned that I goes with am, you can determine the negative form by only adding one simple word. Not. Yeah? Alright. So, let's see how these ones happen to be in negative thanks to that mentioned word. Okay, the conjugations are different. Okay? So, now I am, you just add the not. Okay? So here the contraction cannot be done to the negative form, but can be at the affirmative form. At the end, it's simply a contraction as the infinitive form, the positive form, and the negative form stays in its natural state because you cannot contract these two. Otherwise, these other personal pronouns can have these contractions made primarily in the negative form. So we have you are not, and the contraction will be you aren't. This case is totally the opposite. We have the positive form, it's a natural state, and the not contracted. Okay? Same happens with these ones. You have is not, and their contractions, she isn't. Okay? Same, he, it isn't. That's it. And finally, these one that are basically the same as you, the contractions, and they aren't. Right? So once we have settled down how the affirmative and negative sentences are made using the verb to be in its present form and their conjugations, we determine how the questions are made. How? Well, we already know that the two classifications of the questions are yes, no questions and WH questions as principal ones. So, how does this is used inside of the interrogative questions? So, we're talking first of all about the yes, no questions, which are, we would say, the easiest ones, okay? The plainest ones, questions, okay? We have, once again, our personal pronouns, and they, okay? So, why I was so insistent in this thing that the affirmative form is the base of all? Well, as we have I am, for the yes-no questions, we only change their positions. Having as a result, am I. This is the principal form for the questions, both yes-no questions and WH questions. So, there you are. You just add its conjugation at the beginning, and you already have a question made. You just add the context and a beautiful question mark, which happens in all of them. Alright? So, we're going step by step. Having the affirmative and the negative provided us how to make the questions, the yes-no questions, and knowing how it is changed in the yes-no questions will allow us to have an explanation for the WH questions. So, I think I repeat the word so a lot of times, so, sorry. We have WH questions, right? Which are probably the final point of have WH questions. So we have the am I, for example, how the WH interacts in this sentence. Well, basically it goes in the front part of it. So we have what, why, where, when, how, and who. Okay? All of them can be at this point of the sentence. The context and the beautiful question mark. Same happens with are you, with is, she, is he, and is it, and are, we, and they. Right? So knowing how these conjugations occurred allow us to have the opportunity to make different sentences in different ways. As we could say, the verb to be is used to describe an habitual situation, an emotional mood that a person is take place in a specific location, and it is in the present form. So if I said he as an affirmative, we already know that here is the is because of the first thing is settled down. We could say the negative form of it, which is basically the contraction. Remember that this is a not. Then we have the question as a yes or no. Basically, we just change this. Is he sad? The question mark. And finally, WH questions. Why is he sad? So that's probably all. Thank you very much for being in presence between the computer, the camera, and me, and well, this class, and hope it is helpful for you and your English.